Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be moving into, once again, a conversation where we have a conversation with two, again, stalwarts, two architects of the Indian education system, who are shaping the Indian education system, the regulatory and the education framework for the higher education in India. And we are going to be inviting their views, their perspective on how to be leveraging on technology towards creating these more agile, more inclusive, and more globally competitive higher education institutes. Institutes which cater to the needs of the 21st century, which prepare our learners, our students for 21st century, and how technology, in fact, when we had the first session, Sunetra did ask the Honorable Minister about especially leveraging on technology, and so we take these discussions in detail with the, as I mentioned, with the two architects who are playing a very instrumental role in shaping the regulatory and the policy framework of higher education in India. We're really pleased to have Shri Vineet Joshi, Secretary, Department of Higher Education and Chairman UGC, a very experienced administrator with a deep understanding of education systems. He's previously led institutions such as CBSE and the National Testing Agency. And as we are all aware, this is the agency under the Ministry of Education which has been conducting the entrance examinations. And Mr. Joshi continues to focus on quality, governance, and inclusive growth in higher education. We also have Professor T.G. Sitharam, the Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education, an eminent academic and the former director of IIT Guwahati. He has been instrumental in strengthening innovation, industry linkages, which we have been speaking about, and flexible learning pathways across technical education institutions in the country. The session, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be moderated by Mr. Jamie Mullick, the news editor, Hindustan Times. So I invite all the eminent speakers to be kindly taking center stage. And please join me as I invite Shri Vineet Joshi, Professor T.G. Sitharam, and Mr. Jamie Mullick for this session, Strengthening Higher Education Through Technology.
Thank you, sirs, for joining us. I want to start off quite easy. The National Education Policy puts a lot of emphasis on tech and multidisciplinary learning. My question is that how are UGC and AICTE planning on bringing both these new fields to the classrooms across the country?
Thank you very much. I think all of you know I have spoken many times on this particular topic in many events. But I will start with saying that AICTE was much ahead of the times when compared to even National Education Policy, because NEP talked about 4-year program, multi-year, multi-exit, multi-entry, and multidisciplinary. Multi-entry, multi-exit we learned from NEP, but multidisciplinary was much ahead. AICTE brought in the courses on environmental education, constitution, our curriculum, model curriculum, what we have released is one of the best. Just to tell you, I asked ChatGPT a question: how is the model curriculum developed by AICTE? Okay, is it contemporary? Is it relevant? And how does it compare to the Western world, particularly top universities of the USA? You can try this yourself. It gave fantastic, certification for the model curriculum developed, because we advanced into emerging areas much early. 2018 itself, our program started in data science, artificial intelligence, cyber security, Internet of Things. So we are much ahead of time in that context, so that our BTech program started. But today, what we have done in the last 3 years, we have also started creating a minor degrees in quantum technologies jointly with DST. And we have created a minor degree jointly with InSpace on space technologies, with SIDM and DRDO defense technologies programs. They are all multidisciplinary again. It is any student, whether it is a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer or electronics engineer, will be able to take this course as a minor degree in the 4-year BTech program itself. Technology adoption also is very, very high in both administration. In AICT, we have adopted technology so much, we don't even ask people to come to AICT. Today, every approval process happens digitally, run online, and I even appeal to this college administrator, don't come to AICT, you do that online. So that we deliver everything, even inspection is done online. So in the last 3 years, we have not seen any problems posed to us by any of the colleges. It has made it very simple, transparent, and elegant. So adoption of technology, because that's what we are talking about, not only in the curriculum and academia industry interaction, we have signed MOUs with large number of companies, including all the multinationals, Google, Microsoft, with honorable minister's presence. And all of that is led to high skill-based courses. So I would like to mention two important points. One is the National Education Alliance for Technology, wherein we have 160 plus edutech companies on our portal. And more than 600 products are there. These are microcredits, nano credits, which students can take. Thanks to Ministry of Education, and wherein, we have now flexibility up to 40% of the courses can be taken anywhere else. So these are the kind of any NEET programs and industry relevant courses. And we have also made internship mandatory. Not only making internship mandatory, we have also created an internship portal with 75,000 companies already on the portal, and we have offered close to 75 lakh internships to the students across the country. So these are the way we are making our students. I think that's why I said AICT was much ahead of the times. And I will just tell a small story and then I'll close this. See, when I was the director at IIT, a philanthropist came to me to start a BTech program in data science and artificial intelligence. Because earlier, before 21, none of the IITs had a BTech program in data science AI because we need to create a JEE advanced paper. So we did that at IIT Guwahati because that term was ours. We created a data science paper and admitted students, and we started a BTech program. And the philanthropist Rahul Mehta Family Foundation started the School of Data Science and AI at IIT Guwahati. But when I came to AICTE, I asked my officers, how many institutions are offering data science and AI program in BTech? To my surprise, more than 1,000 colleges are offering BTech in data science and AI, either in a different form, because those who have freedom, like universities, have freedom where they can create a BTech in data science itself. And those who don't have the freedom, they used to call BTech in computer science in bracket data science. So this practice today, as of today, 1,275 institutions are offering BTech program in one way or the other related to data science. This is not today, this is from 2018 onwards. That means we are much ahead of IITs in that context. That's why I'm telling you, we have produced large number of engineering graduates with these emerging areas who are now serving the whole world. And our students, engineering graduates from emerging areas, are omnipresent in every country and every company of the world. With this, I'll stop because Honorable Secretary is here. He will give you more input on this. Thank you.
Mr. Joshi, are there any particular regulatory reforms at the UGC that you would like to mention right now?
The foundation of these reforms was laid in this National Education Policy of 2020, which very categorically said that now the students are going to be at the center. So with student in mind, all the reforms have taken place. So if we put student in center, we realize the importance of this Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishtan bill, which has been recently, which has now been referred to the Joint Committee of the Parliament. It is basically a student-centric reform. Similarly, when you talk of bringing in different type of technologies, including artificial intelligence, quantum computing, other things, you are keeping student in mind because eventually the students who are going to come out of institutions, they should be able to either create the job or they should be able to do work in a fitting manner which improves the economy. So that has been in the mind. And in that direction, you would see in the last few years, as far as you asked about UGC. UGC has been concerned. Following the NEP's fundamentals, the UGC also made a lot of reforms. One of the things was this AEDP, Apprenticeship Embedded Degree Program, in which up to 2 semesters you could do apprenticeship outside the education institution, basically tying it up with the institutions and working there and getting the credits for that, which could account for your degree. So this was a very big reform. And last year we combined this AEDP with NATS, National Apprenticeship Training Scheme, under which we are giving up to 50% of the stipend which a student gets in an industry where he works. So this earn while you learn, this type of a scheme we introduced to ensure that whatever the student is learning is relevant, is useful for the industry, and also the industry is able to understand what is happening in the institutions. Similarly, one very big reform which was done from the point of view of the quality of higher education institution, that has been the foreign higher education regulation, which was brought by the UGC and which allowed the foreign campuses to establish their campuses in the country. And we have about 14 campuses who are there now. Southampton has started its function from this academic year, and others will be starting from the coming academic year. So these were the 2 major reforms. In addition to that, the flexibility has been at the core. One nation, one subscription. Basically, it democratized the research, under which, as many of you would be aware, that about 6,000 crore has been earmarked by the government every year, which is used for ensuring that everybody across the country who is in the government-supported colleges or the universities, if he or she is interested in research, they could freely download the research papers, which were otherwise available at a very high cost. So it has democratized the research. We are, as far as UGC is concerned, is giving a lot of focus on improving online learning. You talked about technology, that up to 40% of your credits that you get through the online, you could account them, you could use them for your degree, your actual degree. So it has also enabled the institutions to get courses from best of the instructors from across the country. Let's say an instructor of IIT Madras or a good instructor of a university of any state government is available now. His or her courses are available to anybody else sitting in any part of the country. And this coursework could be accounted for up to 40% in the final degree program. So there have been many reforms which we have done in the past, and the foundation of that has been laid by the National Education Policy of 2020.
So my next question was going to be about access, but I think you've addressed that quite well. But you also mentioned the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Rajasthan. The bill, if it becomes law, will change or will dramatically alter how the UGC and AICTE both function, because there will be an apex body which will have overarching powers over both. How does it change the functioning of 2 bodies which have so far been apex bodies of education in the country? Professor Sitharam, do you want to go first?
I think Secretary, you should hear Secretary on this.
Of course.
This question is more relevant to him.
Mr. Joshi.
I will also pitch in, but let's listen.
Let us understand the why has it been brought. As I said, the NEP said that the student is at the center. And in the current circumstances, the way the world is changing so fast, you need students also to be learning fast, to be learning, unlearning, relearning. Is going to be a continuous cycle. And not only the students who are in the institutions, even people like us who are outside the educational stream now, we also need to learn at every moment. So in order to ensure this learning becomes easily available, and not only it becomes easily available, it is the content that is there is is responsive to the immediate requirement of the country, it has become extremely important that we should have a system which is flexible. So this flexibility, how will you ensure that if you allow institutions to become multidisciplinary? Because if a student is wanting to learn today science, tomorrow he has to learn mathematics, day after tomorrow he also needs to know about music. There is importance of interdisciplinary learning, not only for being a good learner, even from the point of view of the way the requirement of industry is. Today, in today's life, it is extremely difficult that if you have learned in one watertight discipline, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to find a good job or to do well in that job. So therefore, the interdisciplinarity of learning is extremely important. Keeping that interdisciplinarity in mind, it is also extremely important that the institutions are able to offer that type of a learning. Now, how will they offer that learning? Unless they are able to get permissions from different regulators, it's going to be difficult for them. Today, they have to go to various regulators to get those permissions. So if these regulators come at one place, it becomes easier for the institutions to open, and once they are able to open the institutions easily, the education that is available to a learner, it also becomes faster. So in order to give flexible learning at a very fast pace, which is keeping pace with the development which are taking place in the country, therefore this bill has been brought. And its effect has been that it is going to combine basically the three main regulators of the Ministry of Education, which is AICTE, UGC, and NCTE. All these functions are going to be combined in one place.
So just a second, to follow up on that, wouldn't that also pose, the flip side of that would be that it would pose the danger of having a one-size-fit-all approach being applicable across the country? Because the second you have one body overseeing so many, particularly in a country like India, where the complexities at the grassroots level become really, really apparent, do you think such a bill would alter how we see that?
It is exactly opposite that is going to happen. You know, it is going to function, the topic of today is technology, it is going to function basis technology only. It is going to function on the basis of your public disclosure. It is not going to be on the basis of inspections and approvals. Approvals are going to be automatic. Higher education institutions will need to publicly disclose their data, not only on their website, but also on the website of this body which is going to come up. And whether it is approval of institutions or it is accreditation, it is going to be public disclosure based. It is, as we have said, that light but tight regulation. Light in the sense that it is not going to be based on the inspections, etc. There are going to be clear-cut, pre-announced outcomes. And once you are meeting those outcomes, which will be found from the basis of what all you have declared, you are going to get the necessary approvals. So it is not going to be that one body will become over-centralized. It is rather going to decentralize everything to the institution itself. That it is on an institution that it declares the correct data and it moves up.
So I think the new bill, what has been proposed actually is proposed to simplify, so that all of you will be going to one regulator rather than now 14, 15 regulators. As he rightly said, but the experts from all the discipline also will be there. It happens almost similarly, asynchronously, inside the one agency. I don't think there should not be any fear about it. Actually, as he rightly said, it is with an intention to make it simplified, and it is not more to control, it is more to authorize universities and institutions in a better environment where you can work with your knowledge and your contribution. Coming to learning, as Dr. Joshi, Vineet Joshi emphasized very clearly, multidisciplinary learning. And learning, I think many senior people who are sitting in this hall will know, how did we learn in our time? In my time, I used to learn through the teacher-assisted learning. The teacher used to come and write it on the blackboard. And many of us who are coming from small villages, we don't even could get that access those textbooks, at least in engineering, very expensive. We are all very poor people, so we used to take down that notes very seriously, mug up, and write the exam. But today, completely engineering education, at least I can vouch for you in AICT, it is changed. It is self-learning through Swayam Plus and NEET programs. Lot of flexibility, as he rightly said, 40% of the courses online you can take. Collaborative learning, we are also doing a lot of, our classrooms have changed today. See, I went to many colleges of our engineering colleges. Classrooms are no more rows of they have a round table like this in the classrooms. Each group will have a problem and address that with stickers and stick it on it and discussing. This is mind-boggling what changes have happened. And some of these regulators are not ready. I mean, for example, our VTU or some of those universities who mandates, they may not be ready, but colleges are much ahead of them. This is what I have witnessed: collaborative learning, experiential learning. We have created a AICT Idea Labs at 430 where students do project-based learning. And recently, AICT jointly with Ministry of Education's DOSEL, Department of School Education and Literacy, launched a Build-a-thon project to the young kids so that we teach them what is innovation, how do you build products. So starting from class 6 to class 12, 1 crore students are participating. Right now that competition is going on, Build-a-thon 2025. In addition to that, in higher education, all of you know, I think many of the college people know that Smart India Hackathon we just concluded. It is in auto mode now. That means it is such a popular program, and almost 500,000 students participated in this year's hackathon, solving the real world problems posed by our ministries. And this is really a pleasure to watch. If you had gone in one of those events, it's mind-boggling. Software hackathon happens in 36 hours non-stop. Hardware hackathon happens for 5 days non-stop. Both concluded very successfully. So even now we are conducting IDE boot camps, innovation, design thinking, entrepreneurship boot camp. 60 plus these kind of boot camps we have organized across the country, both for school education and higher education. We have trained all the district officers in education, school education, what is innovation? How do you do project-based learning? And we have coupled that with Atal Tinkering Lab, and thanks to School Education Secretary, he funded us to AICTE, and Ministry's Innovation Council is with us. So we jointly, collaboratively worked, and it is really a pleasure to watch. So the learning space has changed. Learning doesn't happen only teacher-assisted learning now. The role of teachers have completely changed. I would like to mention only 3 programs what we have created for changing the thought process of our teachers. It is more for this technology. Our young people are much more conversant because they are all born with the smartphones in their hand. But the older generation is not ready. Only thanks to COVID, we have just graduated a little bit. But teachers training, 3 programs we have started. One is Center for Excellence in Engineering Education, jointly with Indian National Academy of Engineering. 1 batch is already graduated. It's 5 IITs actually teach, all the fellows of the academy teach these teachers from engineering colleges how to teach fluid mechanics in the new world order, okay? How to teach strength of materials. It's not the very conventional way. We don't teach the entire course. And we have also brought in data science and artificial intelligence common to everybody. This is actually funded thanks to Infosys Foundation. Infosys Foundation has given 38.5 crores to Indian National Academy of Engineering. This is a 3-year project. We are going to train close to about 3,000 teachers in that. Second project is Project Practice. Honorable Minister for Education gave a message, a very beautiful message, where we're going to touch 1,000 local engineering colleges from rural areas, teachers, trainers of trainers, into critical thinking, problem solving, and experiential learning. So unless we change the teachers, this is not possible. This is again a project on a 50-50 share basis with the AICTE and CRISP. There is a NGO from Hyderabad, and Makers Bhavan. All of you know Makers Bhavan, who builds product-based learning. Okay, and one other agency that is LEAP from IIT Madras. 3 of them started there. Our goal is to touch 1,000 engineering college teachers to transform them to critical thinker, problem solver, and experiential learning how to teach. The third project what we have going to start is already started, is very popular, is the that is the PG certification program, postgraduate certification program, jointly with IITs and NITs, IIMs. We are offering in both in engineering and management. This program allows core engineering teachers to take emerging areas 18 credits with a compulsory stay in one of the IITs and IIMs for 4 to 6 weeks. These 2 batches are already graduated. This time there is a huge response, and wherein we train teachers physically. You should see, I went to distribute the certificate jointly with IIT Kharagpur, and it is mind-boggling. All the teachers are so happy. First time in their lives, a civil engineering professor at the age of 55 writing a code in Python, okay, solving the problem. And he was so happy, sir, this is a golden opportunity for us. What we have done, we have brought a policy also. If he teaches for 2-3 years in that course, then he can even be transferred to those respective departments. So that policy also we brought in. So thinking that because large number of students are actually coming to emerging areas, okay, not to core engineering, but I appeal, we need to popularize core engineering as well. And this time I'm very happy to tell you, last 2 years, 10% increase in core engineering seats also happened, civil, mechanical, electronics. But we need to introduce these advanced technologies courses in that. We have done that through the modified the curriculum. Now we have laterally brought in AI and data science into all curriculum programs of civil, mechanical, electrical, electronics, leaving the computer science. Thank you.
Bringing AI into the fore is all right, but you also have to look at the fact that a lot of companies have also started using AI to parse through millions of resumes at the same time. How are you going to ensure that students, particularly those in tier 2, tier 3 colleges, are going to be keeping up with what can only be described as shifting as goalposts, at least in terms of recruitment processes are concerned?
I think I did answer this in the last question itself to you. Okay, I did say our engineering students are today omnipresent. Why the whole world is, 4,000 GCCs have established in India. Okay, why did they come here? They know that talent is here in these emerging areas. Okay, and very early, much before our IIT started a data science program, our engineering colleges started with the help of AICTE. So we have a very large number of talented young people in artificial intelligence, data science. So our human capital is very high today, and that is what the whole world is actually looking at us, because we have a very talented, young, exposed students for these emerging areas. Okay, they are not no way less than anybody, because you go to any company, our engineering students are there, and all those companies are also, large companies are coming and establishing their shops, and some of them are hiring like 100,000 engineers here. So this all clearly shows that there is no lacunae in training of our students. And also they are also born, talented young people. So coming back to your point of, whether AI is, so we do not have a proper infrastructure actually to give them, because we are still talking about 40,000 GPUs. See, countries in America and China and even South Korea has huge GPUs. So recently I met a student, and he went for a placement, and he was asking me, he told me his story. In a placement, he asked a question not about salary. The company whom he has hired, he was asking how many GPUs you have, then only I will join your company. That's the kind of a talented people we have in India today. They are not worried about money or pay package now. They are graduating to the next level. That thought process itself brings confidence to about our younger generation. So that is what I am very clear. I think we will not look back in developing human capital. Last word I wanted to tell you, I'm also the chair of the human capital, the AI India's Impact Summit, which is happening in February. I'm the chair of that. We have already had 6 meetings online with international. MEA coordinates this. And we have seen a very huge interest in what we are proposing. And skilling, upskilling, reskilling programs. But unfortunately, we need to put more money into the infrastructure. But luckily, there is also a new way of looking at it. You don't need such large language models of ChatGPT type with solving multiple problems. You can have focused small language models on specific topics. That's what our young people are developing today. So we don't need to be worried about it. I think our younger generation will take care of these, the new world order, and we will be the leaders in AI. Sometimes jocularly I say, AI is all Indian effort. Even today you see Google, Microsoft, and even OpenAI, except Sam Altman in OpenAI, everybody is an Indian, next generation. So, thank you.
Mr. Joshi, universities are expected to teach, deliver groundbreaking research, and provide employment at the same time. And they have to do all of that with what is best described as very limited resources, especially the further away from tier 1 cities we go. Is the current regulatory framework realistic about the burden that we're placing on them, especially keeping in mind that their outcomes are going to be tied with the kind of resources that they will get eventually?
Universities.
Yes.
We are overburdening them, you're saying, in terms
Possibly.
of expectation?
Possibly. I mean, aren't we expecting too much from them? If we're expecting them to deliver groundbreaking research, we're expecting them to deliver employability, we're expecting them to deliver what has to be future-proof jobs.
Basically, universities are, they have different type of cultures. Some university will be concentrating on teaching only. It's a teaching type of a university. Somebody will be focusing on research, innovation, etc. And the way the university system in India works, that universities are autonomous. They decide for themselves as to what they are going to do, and which they decide, except for the central universities. Central universities are basically meant for the people who are mobile across the country, but generally, otherwise, the universities are catering to the population around them. So based on the expectation of that area, they do that. Now, coming to this point that whether we are expecting too much from them, I think it is as I said, the NEP has laid this emphasis that ultimately the student is supreme. Ultimately, anything that has to happen in the interest of the student. If the student, and every student would not want to go to research, every student would not want to go for entrepreneurship, somebody would want to work, somebody would want to create jobs, somebody would want to create knowledge. So all those things are going to be there. So keeping in mind the students' interest, the universities will have to design themselves, and that they are doing. In fact, not that the universities are not responding to the current generational requirements. Like we talked about AI. Almost every university is now trying to bring in AI in different curricula which they are teaching. Not only in engineering, even in non-engineering type of courses, now the universities are bringing in AI because they realize that it is all pervasive. Anybody who is having that skill is going to be doing better than the person who is not having it. So they are responding to that. So in terms of expectation, I think it is the universities are in a society, society's expectations are changing now, and similarly the universities are also changing. I don't think there is any extra burden on them to respond to so many things. And universities have culture. Some, like every university's culture will also be different. Somebody's culture will be to get into technology. Somebody's culture will be to get into core sciences. Somebody's culture will be to get into entrepreneurship. So depending on the culture of the university, depending on the societal requirement in the ecosystem that university is located, accordingly these universities decide.
But on a macro level, if we're linking funding and autonomy to measurable outcomes, are we not telling universities that teaching for metrics may be a better way for them to survive rather than teaching students the basics of what they should be taught?
Well, this you are asking, is there some sort of an announcement that funding is going to be linked to performance? There's no announcement as such.
No, but the more we focus on measurable outcomes, the more we sort of take away from...
When we talk of outcome, basically we talked in terms of, if you are referring to the recent developments that have happened, we have said that autonomy is going to be linked to the outcomes. And it is again in the interest of the student. If there is a quality institution it should be, and it has all the right to be more autonomous. If there is an institution which is not of that quality, then naturally the autonomy available to it, it is going to be slightly lesser. So in terms of autonomy to deal with the students, it is going to be depending on the outcomes. And in that sense, it is only expectation of the society which is going to be now in the forefront, that it is the student who is supreme, it is his expectations which will change with the times, and that the universities will respond. And those who respond, they get more and more autonomy to do work on their own. Those who are not able to respond that much in the time, they will, work upwards and come to that level.
We are now, what, 5 years since NEP? In another 5 years, what do you think will be, would we be able to look back at NEP and say, okay, we've achieved, at least in terms of your own personal views, what would the success for NEP 10 years since its launch would be?
NEP, one of the basic things which has happened even now is that the GER, today we are around 30% of GER, some 29.6%. So that GER has increased, and the entire higher education ecosystem as of now consists of some 4.62 crore students, which is, I think, one of the biggest ecosystems of the globe. And if you compare it with what was there about 10 years back, we are almost 30% more than what we were there in 10 years before. So there is a great improvement in terms of access, not only access, in terms of inclusivity also. Let's say this GER increase of the communities which were, which are coming under SC, ST and OBC categories, the rate of increase there is better than that is there in the unreserved category. So it has been an inclusive growth. Women in STEM, they have increased. I think now we are in one of the topmost countries as far as women in STEM categories is concerned. And consecutively, I think this is the 6th year consecutively that the female GER is more than the male GER. So whether it is in terms of access or it is in terms of inclusivity, we have done really well in the last 10 years. And same trend will continue. Rather, it will, with the developments which are taking place in terms of, one of the very important things which is going to happen is this making available all the books which are being used in different system, school system, skill system, as well as in the higher education system. Those books are will be made available in all the languages, all the 22 scheduled languages of the country. So which will make learning easy for anybody. It will not be a barrier that if I do not know any particular language, I am not able to study. And even in higher education, the material is going to be made available. This will, number one, increase the access. It will also encourage people to think, independently. They will not. It will not be there that their thinking gets limited to whatever is taught in the classroom. Because when a person is studying in one's own language, there are researches which have proved that you are able to understand better, and once you understand better, you have more chances of applying that knowledge to the real world to solve the real world problems. So it is going to improve. So as I said, as I see from now, from 5 years from now, NEP, we will have, we would be topmost as far as the innovation is concerned, as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, and as far as position of the country in the globe is concerned.
I will just talk about 2 points just to support Dr. Joshi's points. One is the access. I will only speak on behalf of the technical education and professional courses. So we have made engineering and management education democratic. What I mean by that is, we have engineering college in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Polytechnic in Lakshadweep Islands, and every district has 1 or 2 engineering colleges. Every district in any part of the country. That very clearly shown that, now people who are dream to join the professional courses, they can join. So that's where, state governments are running these colleges, central government is running these colleges. So there is a variation, and top institutions are there. Almost every state has one IIT. 23 IITs have been started. IIMs have been started. So if you all look at that, this was not there in the last 20 20 years. It's all happened in the last 20 years. And NEP has brought in a lot of flexibility. And coming to innovation and what he talked about, I would like to emphasize on that. AICT has created all 14,000 institutions we have now, including BBA, BCA college. Every institution has Institution Innovation Council. And we also conduct innovation activities year-long in those activities. Recently, IIC's regional center events were happened at 12, 13 centers in across the country. Again, it is a festival to watch. Where students present their projects, display very confidently, and participating in the competition. As we know that innovation cannot happen with research and development. So at least engineering institutions, last year have made the research and development cell along with climate cell a mandatory. We link that to the approval process now. So that means why our IICs were created everywhere, because to download our extension of approval or approvals, they have to create the IICs, start working. Similarly, we have done this time R&D cell and with the climate cell, mandatory. So this is going to take another 5 years, as he rightly said in NEP. Phenomenal changes will happen. At least I can vouch for you. Engineering education will be at the peak in India, and we will be the only engineers across the world because numbers are so huge. They will be everywhere, omnipresent in every country of the world and every company of the world. There is no doubt about it, because these are all very talented people and all speak English along with their mother tongue. We are also emphasizing mother tongue now. See, we are actually offering programs, and textbooks are available in 12 different languages already as per the model curriculum, in 12 languages, which is all free. E-Kump portal of AICT produced this. Okay, you please look at that. They are not run-of-the-mill textbooks. They are outcome-based textbooks written by experts from all engineering colleges, IITs, NIT professors. So these are one of the best books, and more than 7 lakh or 10 lakh downloads have happened because this is free. So people are reading in their mother tongue. Their innovation capabilities will increase. And we are also running program in mother tongue. Recently, one batch of students in artificial intelligence and data science graduated in Marathi from Pune College with 75% placement happened. So these are all something very, very unique because of NEP. Otherwise, we would not have tried this, even experimented this, bringing mother tongue as a prime focus. So these are all very, very innovative steps because of NEP. I think I don't have any doubt in 5 years, and our engineering fraternity will do, as I told you, we have already democratized the engineering education. Now our engineers will be omnipresent everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That is as good as a note to finish on, being the world's leader in engineering and in other fields, of course. Thank you so much for joining us.